Today we're going to be talking about something that you guys may or may not know. I've kind of brought it up in a few videos in the past, but I am adopted from Russia, and I was brought to the United States of America when I was at the young, ripe age of 3.5 years old, and yeah, which is pretty cool, I think. A lot of people don't look at adoption as sometimes a good thing. Some people have the misconception, oh, parents didn't love you. It's too bad. And I'm like, no, actually, quite the contrary. I was given a chance at a better life, and I tell you right now, there's no way I would have survived in Russia. Dude, between us, I can barely survive if it drops below 70 degrees. Like, I get cold very, very fast. So, yeah, that's one of the reasons why it's probably best that I'm over on this side. But, yeah, I'm just really thankful. I know my mom and dad are going to be watching this, and shout out to you guys for just making that decision, because I just think it's so cool. And honestly, I've just been blessed. I can't even imagine a life or another life instead of this one, because you guys have given me the opportunity to just experience so much, travel so many places, to have things that I probably never would have had in Russia, and I'm just so thankful for that. And for anyone out there who has ever thought about adopting, or who is adopted, just know that you're special. And in my case, or anybody who's been adopted, you kind of got selected. And I know that might sound weird, but like, I was chosen over a lot of other kids who have the same chance of being adopted, and that's why I just think it's so cool to be part of that, because not everybody gets adopted. A lot of kids get stuck in the orphanage, and by the time they reach a certain age, they're kicked out, and that's really scary, because they don't have everything. They don't have anything except what's on their back, and they're forced to go out into the world and survive. And I don't know about you guys, but I couldn't do that. I can barely figure out where I'm going. I have to pull out the Google Maps anytime I get out on the street. So, yeah, I just think it's really cool that, or I just admire people who I find out who are adopted, because one, it's just something that I can kind of just relate automatically with that person. And I don't know. I just want to say thank you just to my parents and to God, and just for allowing this to happen, because the whole reason it happened, it's a crazy story. My parents, who adopted me, were on a honeymoon. Forget where it was, but they were walking around, just doing their thing, and this little street vendor guy comes up and gives them a necklace of, I think it was a pope at the time, and says to them, "You're going to be blessed with a young, healthy boy. He's going to grow up to do great things." That was me they were talking about. But at the time when this guy was telling my parents this, they literally, at least what they told me, like, they looked at each other and they're no, we're not. We already have a daughter. They had a daughter at the time, and they weren't planning on having like kids. They had the daughter. That's all they needed. They were very fine with that, and they kind of just brushed it off. And I guess a couple months went back, and a couple months went by, and my mom decided, you know what, Rob, my dad's name, I'm going to adopt a child. And kind of from that point, my dad was kind of like, what? Are you serious? You really want to adopt a kid? And I was like, yeah. Because, I don't know, it's crazy to think how two people can go from just, not thinking about having a child or adopting, and just from a flick of the switch, or one person coming up to them and telling them, you're gonna have you're gonna get a kid. It's just remarkable. And before I know it, they just started looking, and they got in touch with the adoption agency, and they were being sent lots of videos. And at the time, when they were looking for kids, my video wasn't available. I was not eligible, because I was, I guess, not old enough to be part of being put up for adoption. So a lot of time went by, and my parents were looking at videos of these kids, and they're like, no, not this one, not that one. And all of a sudden, like, my mom had gotten really sick, and she was in the hospital, and she was in there for a little while, and You know, it's kind of like, I guess you could say, a dark time, and all of a sudden, once I became available for adoption, I think Natalia was her name, who was working with my parents with the adoption agency, sent off my video to them for them to watch, and my dad was the first to see it. And I guess my mom had came home, and my dad said to her, "Are you ready to meet your new baby boy?" And it was me. And I wish I could show you guys the footage, but I don't have it. It's on VCR tape. And yeah, before you know it, my mom and dad were like, "That's the one, that's the kid." And I look back, and it's just incredible, because sorry, I just sometimes I get emotional talking about it, because I'm so thankful that I was given this second chance. So yeah, my parents saw the video, and before you know it, they flew over to Russia, and they came to see me, and they, I guess really the rest is history. But I mean, quick thing. The judge, they had to meet the judge in order to kind of complete the adoption process, and the judge almost didn't allow them to have me. And they were telling my parents, like, why is an American family wanting a Russian child? Because this was kind of shortly after, like, the whole Cold War had happened. And my parents did everything they could to just, like, let them know, like, they're coming home with me. Like, there was no turning back. And yeah, and they ended up getting me in. Also, quick side fact, they didn't know this, but when they came to get me, the lady there who was in charge of the, I guess, orphanage, was telling them that I actually have a sister also who's a few years older than me, but she was adopted by a Russian family before I was adopted, and we were split up. And that was a big, like, surprise to my parents. They didn't know that, but they were willing to adopt her as well if she was there, which I think is just, I just think that's so cool, because it just shows how much, like, love and how much, like, they care. And yeah, so unfortunately I never did meet my sister, but I'd like to think she's probably doing really good, and she's out there in the world, and, like, probably, since she was adopted by a Russian family, she's probably like a famous ballerina or something. I don't know. And I never got to really meet my mom and dad, but I like to think that they're doing okay, and I understand why they made the sacrifice that they did, and it's okay. And just things turned out for the best. And yeah, so now I'm 24 years old, living the life, and I can't, I wouldn't look back for the world. I'm just so thankful. So Mom, Dad, whenever you guys get a chance to watch this video, just thank you so much. And yeah, that's all I have. So I'll see you guys in the next video.